to date, I have created content on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, LinkedIn, YouTube, email. And one of the things that has helped me maintain consistency on all of these platforms is having a workflow. A workflow is simply a step-by-step process of all the activities that you need to do in order to publish content consistently. So in today's episode, I'm going to share with you my step-by-step workflow that you could apply to any social media platform. The first thing that I do at the beginning of each month is create a goal. And I divide my goal into a business goal, a marketing goal, and a visibility goal. All right, so my business goal is going to boil down to how many clients do I want each month, or how many online sales do I want to make each month. So for example, you can decide going into this new month, I want to create, or I want to sign 2 new clients per month, all right? You could also decide on your marketing goal, aka how often do you want to show up on social media. So that could be you want to show up 3 times on Instagram, you want to do 1 YouTube video, or maybe you want to do 1 podcast episode per week, all right? I also want you to think of your visibility goal. Where do you want to be seen, right? This could be offline and online. Maybe you want to offline do 1 networking event per month. Maybe online you want to share more visibility type reels so that you get new people on your profile, all right? That's the first step in any workflow for any of the social media platforms. You want to think of what are your goals or what is the end result that you're working toward. The next step in the workflow is coming up with your list of content ideas. So you can do this by either deciding to have a brainstorming session and actually brainstorm your list of content ideas, or my personal preference, you can have a running list of content ideas. You can decide to use, for example, a Google Doc, and you can write content ideas throughout the month based on how they come up in client conversations, questions that people may ask you on social media, etc. And you can just keep adding to this document of content ideas. As a bonus, what you want to do is categorize your content ideas so that they're not just one long list. Instead, you want to categorize it based on their problems, their solutions, or even obstacles that your client may face, because those will be the content ideas that you would generate into content later down in order to achieve the goal that you would have set in step 1. After you have your list of running content ideas, the next step is actually to start content planning. And we love this step in the workflow because this is when you get to decide what content gets posted on what day. The tool that I love to use, and my clients know I am obsessed with, is Trello. How I use Trello is that I actually use each list in Trello and I put the date, and then for each card, I use each card to actually type out the content idea that I would have created in step 2 of the workflow, all right? So we use this to kind of determine what day and what content gets posted on each day. I even go a step further when content planning, and I decide, okay, which content am I going to use to tell stories, so to be more storytelling? Which content am I going to use to teach and be more educational? Which content will be more promotional, where I talk about my offer? And then which content am I going to use to actually share more behind the scenes of what it is I am doing in my business, all right? So even at the content planning stage, you're also categorizing the type of content or the categories of content that you'll be posting. The 4th step in my content flow is always outlining my content. Now this is super critical because this is the meat of the content. This is the value. This is where I will actually outline, okay, what is my hook? What's the thing that I want to start off my content with in order to gain person's attention, right? Then I will decide, okay, what is the value that I'll be sharing? Am I teaching? Am I sharing a story, etc.? And then I will decide, okay, what's my call to action? What is the way in which I would help people at the end of this content piece, all right? This is super critical because when you outline your content, you can then decide how do you want to actually turn this into content. Do you want to do a talking to camera video like I'm doing here? Do you feel like it's too long for social media? You want to do a YouTube, or you want to do a podcast? Do you feel like this would be better as an email? Do you feel like this would be better as a carousel? When you outline your content, this is when you will get to decide how you're going to deliver that piece of content. And now we finally get to the 5th step and the fun part of the content creation process, which is the actual recording of the content. A lot of people start with this 5th part first and they're like, camera is in front of me, let me just see if the information will come out. It doesn't happen like that. Steps 1 to 4 really and truly lay the foundation. So step 5, when you're recording, you know exactly what are your goals, You know exactly what it is you have to say, etc. Right? You can decide beforehand, am I doing talking to camera? Am I doing more B-roll or behind the scenes clips? Right? Is this going to be a photo and I just add a caption to it, etc.? So your content recording session is where you get to really and truly bring the content piece to life so that it could be shared on whichever social media platform you are desiring. And the sixth and final step is basically you finalizing your content piece. So this is where you may, for example, write out captions, or you may refine the existing captions. You may decide to schedule your content at this point inside of Creator Studio, or maybe schedule it in a YouTube platform if you do YouTube videos, right? You may also decide if you're doing reels, you want to do a reel cover, etc. So this is you putting the final touches on your content so that it is ready for viewing by your audience, all right? And there you have it. Those are the 6 steps of my content workflow that you could apply to Instagram, Facebook, email, TikTok, LinkedIn, YouTube, podcast, wherever you desire to create content. If you are someone who would benefit from coming up with your own workflow based on your own strengths and your lifestyle, definitely leave a comment below with the word workflow, and I'll reach out to you and tell you how we can work together, or you can send me a message on my Instagram at The Content Magnet. See you in the next episode. Bye.